Some folks shared a video with me where Joe Rogan appears totally astounded by a prophecy from 1965 that predicted the future of America.
What year was that? Holy shit. That's amazing.
Little did he realize, as he delved deeper into what he thought was merely a prophecy, he would soon discover that it eerily described his own life in his separation from God.
You pull up the Paul Harvey thing from whenever that was about
Maybe
the
let's
devil.
play that. Pull that up because I haven't heard that.
This video clip had such a profound effect on Joe that he shared it on his Instagram shortly after, sparking widespread speculation about whether this might be another indicator of Joe's potential shift towards Christianity. Now let's dive into why this video clip made such a deep impression on Joe.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around.
Just 30 seconds in, and this must be a tough spot for Joe, especially since he's gone on record before saying that the Bible is just a myth and that humans invented the concept of God.
Because Christianity, at the end of the day, with no proof, everything is mythology. It's a myth. Then you're believing mythology. You understand, mother, because the New Testament is utter horse, is to rely on ancient myths that are easily scientifically disproven. Well, that's what Christianity is.
At this moment, Joe clearly fits the description Harvey mentions here, but he doesn't seem particularly moved by it yet. Perhaps Joe's subdued reaction stems from his initial skepticism towards the prophecy's credibility. However, as the narrative unfolds, he appears increasingly persuaded by its assertions.
I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills.
Wow.
If I were the devil, I'd...
Now Joe looks visibly shaken. It's as though the prophecy foresaw the current opioid crisis, which only escalated recently. This epidemic has led to nearly 40 million people getting hooked on these medications, resulting in almost 650,000 deaths over a 2-year period. Now, pay attention to what he's about to say next.
I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild.
Wow.
Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door.
Holy shit.
Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress.
It's intriguing because Joe has consistently emphasized that religious beliefs shouldn't influence our laws, as evident from his dialogue with Matt Walsh, among others.
Just because we have this institution that we've developed, that we think that, oh, it should, till death do us part. Well, that's it. You said it forever. Now you're going to be miserable because in the eyes of God, you have to be together forever and ever and ever. Amen. That's it. Yeah, that seems ridiculous to me.
But now things take a more personal turn for Joe.
And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science.
Did you notice that? That was significant. He mentioned that they would deify science, essentially substituting God with scientific methods. This aligns with Joe's previous stance, where he favored finding answers in science rather than in religious faith.
And as we have found more facts about the nature of reality and the world itself, it seems more and more preposterous with every day. Every day the scientists come up with these new equations that show the way the universe could have possibly been formed. They'll look at us now in 2015, they'll say, what a strange time, this adolescent period of enlightenment, where they're still concentrating on stupid shit, and the fucking president of the United States can openly talk about God.
Right.
Let's proceed.
I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money.
We need to pause for a moment here because this point really resonates with Joe. This was a key factor in why Joe moved away from Christianity and embraced atheism early in life.
When I went to Catholic school, when I first got there, I was happy that I was going to go to Catholic school. But then as I experienced it, like, first of all, these people are so mean. My parents were nice to me. My grandparents were nice to me. Everyone was nice to me.
Except this
and
lady.
then all of a sudden I'm in this room with this lady who is representing God, and she's f***ing evil. She's mean. She wants you to cry. She would, like, try to get kids to cry. Scared the shit out of me. I remember crying. They were calling me a baby because I was crying. Who would threaten you if you didn't do something. You were going to have to sleep on a nail in the closet. You'd have to stay home. You're never going to get to see your parents again. She would yell stuff like that. It was like she was evil. I hated it.
Yeah.
I was in fear of those fucking crazy people. It was over by the time I was out of it.
What's fascinating here is that instead of dismissing the divine, this segment offers another perspective, suggesting that evil forces might use religious figures to drive people away from faith. Interestingly, Joe has previously dismissed the notion of Satan and talked about our society progressing beyond such beliefs.
As it improves and expands, we are no longer accepting the idea of Satan. We've moved past Satan.
Yeah.
I'm curious if this video clip might have slightly shifted his perspective. Keeping all this in mind, let's see how Joe responds to the rest of the video clip.
If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
What year was that?
It was 65, but...
Holy shit.
1965.
That's amazing. 65. Wow. April 3rd, 1965. Paul Harvey nailed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't it striking that what we're discussing isn't even a prophecy from the Bible, which holds even more profound insights? Yet, as you can see, Joe was profoundly impacted by this segment, so much so that he even shared it on his Instagram. All this really makes you ponder. Given Joe's reaction to how accurately this clip mirrors today's world, it raises a question. What does he make of the aspects that seem to echo his thoughts about God and his distancing from religious beliefs? Could it be that he's reconsidering whether he's been misled by darker forces to dismiss the divine all along? The answer hinges on Joe's current beliefs, which appear to have shifted over time. And next time you hear Joe Rogan marvel at a secular prophecy, remember, it doesn't hold a candle to the prophecies of the Bible. What will your reaction be?